Given Ukraine's failing counteroffensive, and given a CNN poll showing 55% of Americans to be opposed to any more funding for Ukraine, it's understandable why geopolitical analysts would claim that the Biden administration is about to throw Zelensky under the bus. Pulling the plug on Ukraine may be the sensible thing to do, but US policymakers rarely do what's sensible. The truth is, there's little reason for the US to abandon Ukraine. It would be killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. Consider, the US annual budget is $6.3 trillion. Even if the US were to spend $200 billion a year on Ukraine, and that would amount to less than 3% of its budget. What matters most to the US, though, no Americans are dying in Ukraine. Listen to Senator Richard Blumenthal, quote, "We're getting our money's worth for less than 3% of our military budget. We've enabled Ukraine to degrade Russia's military strength by half. The money spent on Ukraine is, quote, the best national defense spending we've ever done. We're losing no lives, and we're devastating the Russian military." And of course, Senator Lindsey Graham, quote, "Russians are dying, best money we've ever spent." A recent editorial in the Washington Post declared, quote, "If Putin succeeds in subjugating Ukraine, his next targets would be NATO frontline members." So whether US money is going towards degrading Russia's military or towards saving NATO frontline members, money and arms must continue to flow into Ukraine. Unfortunately, the analysts who expect the US to abandon Ukraine have a very selective memory. They recall the ignominious exit from Afghanistan, but not the 20 years the US spent there, the 2,400 US lives lost, or the $2.3 trillion squandered. Same in Iraq. The US spent more than $1 trillion, lost 5,000 lives, and is still there more than 20 years after the invasion. And of course, Vietnam. People recall the 1975 helicopter evacuation, but not the 20-year involvement or the 58,000 US lives lost. In July, only 70 House Republicans voted in favor of an amendment to the defense bill, cutting off all US military aid to Ukraine. Also in July, overwhelming defeat first of an amendment to cut off Lend-Lease authority for Ukraine, then massive defeat of an amendment to reduce aid to Ukraine by $300 million, and a huge defeat of an amendment to require the White House to explain to Congress its Ukraine strategy. At the same time, though, the House did pass, almost unanimously, a bill directing President Biden to prepare a report on the government's collection of evidence of alleged Russian war crimes. Maybe this will all change if Trump returns to power. Maybe. But that's 16 months away. And it may not even happen.